American University in Bulgaria.
Happy to be here. Less people than we expected, but I'm not that astonished because it's relatively late in the evening. Happy that you are here, and having such a small group, I think it helps us to make it even more interactive. I'm not here to present to you whatever, but I'm really here to hear what also you would like to hear, to give you some insights of maybe my personal private view of a big company. But whenever you have questions, please don't hesitate to interrupt. Don't wait to the end. Ask. There is no need that I go through my slides in one flow. If you say, okay, it's boring, let's skip it, let's skip it. So be very honest. That's where you can profit from it. My name is Christoph Speck. You see that here on the slide. I'm working for Coca-Cola Hellenic for the last 9 years. For the last 2 years here in Bulgaria. Before that, I was employed by the Baltic entity, which is Estonia. I was based in Estonia, also responsible for Latvia and Lithuania. And before that, I was working for Switzerland. And before that, for the famous Swiss chocolate company, Lindt & Sprüngli. That's where I got these extra kilos. It's not beer, because as a student I was drinking a lot and I still looked slim like you do. But when I started to eat chocolate, that was stopping to make that much sport. That's where I got it. Never got rid of it anymore. Okay, so what we thought what might be interesting for you to hear about is about people. Why have we chosen this topic? It's mainly because you are the next generation of leaders. The society believe in you that you will be the ones that will lead either in the government, you take a lead in a company, as we are, or you take a lead in an NGO, or whatever. But that is something that is quite often not really taught in universities. You hear a lot about math, you hear a lot about physics. I don't know what do you study exactly here, but that's the things I heard about. You heard about cash flow, bill of materials and things, all kind of things, but you have limited amount of leadership, how to interact with people. Now, let me be very clear. I wouldn't be successful, and my company wouldn't be successful, if we would not be able to manage our people. That's a key element. I mean, I cannot do the job. The only thing I can do is I can lead the people. I can inspire people. I can make people happy, shining eyes, and they will do the job. Myself, I cannot. Imagine if I would need to buy the raw material, fill the Coke in the bottle, bring the bottle to the warehouse, bring the bottle to the customer. Most probably we would sell 10 bottles a year. So a key role that I have, aside of creating a strategy, is in fact to get the success through the people. And that's what I thought to talk about. Is that something you want to hear today? Or you say, rubbish, tell us something else? Does somebody speak English here? No? Guys, tell me, is this something you believe is interesting for you? I don't want to waste your time. Okay, then we go on. So what we look at, when we look at the success through people, we have chosen 7 elements that we believe are important. It starts with having, in fact, a strategic framework, a vision, an idea how things should go. We need talents. We need people that can grow throughout the organization. The business is growing, you need people that can do that too. How do we define talents? We will see. You need to have the right values. You can have great people. If they don't have the right value, you will not get anywhere. People will not be happy. You need to have engagement. Only an engaged person can really bring and invest his passion, his energy in the right direction. Employer brand. If you as a company don't have the right attitude, if you're not seen as a positive, as a good company, you will never be able to attract any of the talents. You will not be able to retain people. With that, you get achievement, and you need to celebrate the achievement. If you don't celebrate, it just passes by. Let me tell you, it's the most difficult thing. We're extremely good in complaining. Even if you read the newspaper, you see how much negative you can read there. We're extremely bad in going back and say, well done, thank you very much for your effort. Oh. It's very rare that we do it. We just take it as granted. But the moment I say that to somebody, that empowers him again, and we'll see that. So our strategic framework, our company made it extremely simple. They said we have a foundation, the 4 C's. The community trust, consumer relevance, customer preference, and cost leadership. I will not talk about that because it's less related to people. But what you see is, I will talk mainly about that, unparalleled talent, high performance mindset, and that is covered by our 6 values. And we made sure that everybody understands that in our company. So when we talk about, we have a problem because we cannot press the links. I will need your help then. Okay, so how do we define a talent is I think, a key thing, because you don't want the one feeling bad, and you want to have a transparent way of, in fact, engaging with the people and making them successful. So what we do, we have a very strict process for all our employees where we have KPIs that we set, or targets, personal targets, that we set at the beginning of the year to make sure that they know what we expect from them. So never be surprised if somebody don't deliver what you think he should, if you never told him what he should do. On an annual basis, we calibrate that, because it's important that I look at my employees the same way as my peer colleague looks at his employees. So we talk both about our people the same way. Can you click on this first arrow here? Because it leads to another slide, so to see how that works. Thank you very much. So we defined, also with the help of external companies, 7 standard areas that we want to look at. Against these key result areas, as we name them, we measure our people. And these key result areas are in fact directly linked to skills. They are listed here. And we have a full book of these skills. So if we see that somebody has a gap, you can find that in this book. It's not written by us, we just adopted it. So we stole with pride good ideas from others. And we can find, so if somebody is maybe not great in having commanding skills, we can find out what we can do to help him to get that in case he needs. So it's also defined whether we need it or not. Maybe you push me the flashback here. Thank you very much. Yes, please. So we then go to a thing that we call People Development Forum. It's a meeting that happens on each leadership layer throughout the organization and is always involving the peers and the manager above when we discuss about that. So what we do here is we look at the potential of a person. What do we mean by the potential of a person? In fact, we think the person can do the job on the next managerial layer. So to see the potential, we need to see that the person has the right values. If he is just nasty to people, he doesn't have the right values, he will never be a good leader. We need to see his current performance. Somebody that doesn't do a good job in the current role will for sure not be able to do a great job on the next leadership level, because he doesn't even be able to do the job at that level. But if you are good in this too, you still need to be able to learn. If you're not able to learn new things, you cannot get into the new job. You might be a fantastic person, which we then say mastery level, because the mastery means cannot grow, but he can be an exceptional performer on a mastery level. And we need these people. These are the people that build the foundation. But we also need people to grow. We do that, even this full process is in fact completely transparent and is done in our SAP system. It's a screenshot out of the SAP system. So we have people, where they come from, what they did done before, what they do in the future, what are their wishes, and what is their manager's belief. So both sides will see both sides. I see what my manager believes about me, and I write what I believe about me. Doesn't always have to match. But the good thing is that on a calibration, my manager has to discuss with his colleagues about me. So if other people have a different view, they need to change that. May you push that flyer back here? Thank you very much. And go to this one. Yes. Thank you very much. So now we defined somebody that has a potential, has a talent, and we've seen that they're good. Some of the people, we find out we are lacking talent. We're lacking the potential. And that's when we need to bring in new people. Also, some people might leave the company. Some people get promoted, and we need new people. We need people like you, fresh, new, passionate, with new ideas. So we also need to get new ideas from outside, not to get with a tunnel view. We have a 2-year program to bring in new talents. People directly from university. They go through a 3 months assignment in sales, 3 months in supply chain, 2 months in support functions, shadowing, doing projects, doing the job also for a certain period, because with shadowing it gets boring. Then they get a 3 months hand-on project. They go for 6 months into a real job to see how to do. They get a bit of extra time free, so it's not a 100% job, so they can further work on projects. They present that, and then they also need to build people management capabilities. So they are doing a team leader job to see how they deal with people. After this 2-year program, depending on how strongly they developed, they get a job within a function, means a real job. We have also another program, so for people that were just there for longer, or for people that came in not through that program, which is what we name managing self, means I'm on my own, I don't have direct reports, and we believe you could lead. So we send them through a 1-year program, which again is with assessment, with development steps, and we got like 20 people every year that go through this program. We have people that are already managing other people, but they could become manager of managers, so the next leadership level. Again, we are assessing them, we give them feedback, we look at different ways on them. We develop very individual plans on how to develop, but we also bring them together into classes to make sure that they can develop the right skills. So it's a 1-year program, and at the end they should be ready. Doesn't mean that we have at that moment directly a job. We might need to wait a couple of more days, weeks, months, till the person can get such a job on a manager of manager level, because we also need to have a free job. But it's always good to have the potential and the people ready. Our values, I mentioned it, are these 6 things. Starts with authenticity, excellence, learning, caring for our people, which also means building, performing as one, and winning with our customers. Yes, sure?
May I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Where do these programs take place? Are you talking about Bulgaria? Or
Yes.
about...
These 3 programs, they're run for Bulgarian employees in Bulgaria. They are developed and standardized within our group. So the good idea is we should not reinvent the wheel. So the program as such is built up together, but we run it also with the Bulgarian specifics in Bulgaria. So especially the managing self needs to be run in Bulgarian language. It would not be possible to do that in any other. The higher you go, because our corporate language is English, the more people need to speak English to be able to get to that training. Okay, other questions at that moment? Yeah, sure.
What is the difference between Coca-Cola Hellenic and Coca-Cola Enterprise?
Okay.
Chris, for you to answer, can someone answer? But we have a present for someone, one of you who will give the right answer to this question.
I don't think.
Isn't Coca-Cola Hellenic related to Eastern Europe? And Enterprise related to
That answer is right. That answer is right.
That's right. But only
Okay.
partial answer.
Let me go a bit back to answer that question to when Coca-Cola was founded 126 years ago. That was a local Atlanta brand in a pharmacy. And then people loved it, so it expanded a bit. But to conquer the world, they would not have had the money to do that. So they used the same approach as all Zara clothing, or I think Benetton does the same, McDonald's does the same. They gave out licenses. So they produce a concentrate, and they gave out licenses to produce the final product and to sell it. Correct. Now, what happened is that they got thousands of them. I think Bulgaria had 8. Yeah. 8 of them. And they found out they cannot manage that one anymore. So what they did is they supported the consolidation of what they named the bottlers. So the ones who put it in the bottle. By now there are a couple of very big ones, and there are still some markets that are completely fragmented. The very big ones, you mentioned one, is Coca-Cola Enterprise. So the one that you most probably meant is the Coca-Cola company with seat in Atlanta. Then there is Coca-Cola Enterprise controlling the north of America and a bit of Western Europe. There was Coca-Cola Hellenic, which is from the Baltics, Poland, Czech, Switzerland, Italy, down, everything eastwards to Vladivostok. There is FEMSA, which is running South America, Middle and South America, and Amatil, which is these are the 4 big ones, which is running the Asian business. And then there are still some smaller other bottlers. So we are part of a group that is combining 29 countries, and we are the bottler. Now, Coca-Cola company has always kept the hand on the bottler by in fact having shares. So from our company, 1/3 roughly is belonging to the Coca-Cola company. So they have a saying in what we do. We also are in Bulgaria in the same building. So we work very close together. What are the responsibilities of the 2 companies? Coca-Cola company is doing all the big things when it comes to advertisement, the Olympics, World Cups, all these kind of things, TV ads. We could not do for one country. These things you need to do globally. So they care about that. When you go to Billa after this, or to Penny or any other store, and you see a very nice pallet standing there, maybe even with a promotion price off 20%, or you get a gadget with, this is done by Coca-Cola Hellenic. So the bottler is taking care about everything that is execution in the market, and everything that is above is done by the company. And we talk very closely to each other, not that one is advertising one thing and we do something else, so that must be done together. Difficult, but I hope I was able to explain. Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, so these are our values. Now when we define the new values, it's not that we were a company without values before, but we didn't put them so clearly. We didn't mention so clearly what are our values. We had to do a lot of things. So you see this was like the old one, and we moved over to that one. So we did a lot of things, and I brought some of it with me. We gave every meeting room got this one in a bigger size. This is one out of my office. They even gave it to me in English so I can read it. The other ones are in Bulgarian because we want to be sure that everybody understands. It's hanging everywhere. You see it on every step that you do to understand. That's the initial phase, is very important. We involved our people down to the shop floor level to ask them, how can we roll it out? We did, we defined the people. The people were defining the people that they believe are role model for being authentic, customer-centric, and all the other values. And they were, we demonstrated they're working together to even roll it out further, to make it in depth. We asked people to select people who are the best ones, who did improve most on living our values, and they were sent over to Atlanta to see the Coca-Cola head office and the museum there. There are a couple of more events. We even made a movie with the senior management team to also show how serious we mean it as a lead team. So that is not just something that, here, take it and go, but we are standing behind that. We took also another approach, which is we went to TVs, we put it on the screens, we have screens in our office, and we did invent. In fact, these champions that we had here, they came up with the idea. They said, let's invent Dobrin, the good man. So the good man is in fact the one who brings the values. And we had, every 2 weeks, we had a new cartoon explaining that. Can you please click on the movie? We can see that.
Meet Dobrin, the Coca-Cola Hellenic values superhero. His name literally means a person who is doing only good things. Dobrin translates the values in a fun and understandable way. The episodes of the sequence capture the essence of the values in a story of everyday life situations. The office team learned that it's so much better to work without a mask, but be authentic and show our real selves. A line operator was convinced that only a job that is done with excellence brings real satisfaction. Our colleagues realized that learning from each other can inspire work and rise performance. A market developer was motivated to discover much more of his internal potential by being supported in his personal and professional growth. The office team found out that the goals are much closer when we are performing as one. Let's see what is going on today. Dobrin saw that the Coca-Cola team is striving to win the game.
Oh no, what shall I do now? Where will I find another forward?
Why don't you call Ivanov to come? You know him well, he is customer of Coca-Cola.
You are right, I should have thought of it myself.
Ivanov turned out to be a great choice. Business is like football. Customers are a part of our team. If we want to win, we have to play all together. Winning with customers. We get it right the first time. We always add value. We make our best decisions in a marketplace. This is how we saw the values, through behaviors from real life. Dobrin will continue to be our hero in the communication and help us embed the right behaviors. Because we live the values every day.
So you see, we used really all different kind of approaches to get the values working for us. Now the values is good, and I said we need to assess also our people against these values. We've done that. We define, in fact, to make it easier, behaviors, what to do or not to do. And on this, it looks a bit different, but I told you before about the book and the competencies. We put it behind each of them, which values are touched through a specific skill or behavior. Okay. One more thing. I said the shining eyes is an important thing. And we said, okay, we need to measure how engaged our people are, and we need to compare ourselves with the industry standard. So not only within Coca-Cola, but with the industry standard. And there again, there are external companies that can do these things, and we found one. And the definition of being engaged is, it would take me a lot to leave. Being part of Coca-Cola Hellenic really motivates me to go even further, to do more than is expected, and I recommend to work here. If you answer all the 3 questions with yes, we believe that person is an engaged person. We also look since last year on values. So we say, okay, does somebody understand our values? Does he believe in the values? And does he support the values? If he says yes, then again we believe he's one of our value people. Now, when we know all this, that's good to know that whether we are engaged or not, but it's not good enough. I mean, quite often, and you will see that when you enter business, maybe already now you see that, we do a lot of analysis. Analysis paralyzes, some people say. It's great to analyze. But what's important is the action behind. What comes next? How do we overcome that? So what we do is, when we have our engagement result, we go out and we break it down to the shop floor level. Means the last operator or the truck driver gets in fact asked on how can he, his team, we as a company change and make the place where we are much better to further increase the happiness and the engagement in people. We then also review that. To give you an example of how such thing could look, that's the most recent one. We got the results last year and we discussed what could be done. Now, what one we've seen, and I took you as my victim on that one. I said, we're not really great in saying thank you, in saying you do something great. We're always good in correcting, in saying something went wrong. And the people said the same. And what we came out is we created together with the team an idea, and I brought it with, just to show. Everybody got like this envelope. In there is our 6 values. And then when you believe that one of your colleagues is doing something great, you take one of these cards and you say, okay, I believe you did something absolutely fantastic, something excellent today, or something which was showing the winning with customer. There's 2 parts. One you fill and you say thank you to the person. You give the person that one. The person can hang it here to show off that he's in fact getting a lot of them. And the other piece you put in a box where it's like a lottery, the person can win at the end. So it's a practical example of where we found out what could be done to really drive that. Because if you just say, yeah, we say now a bit more, thank you, tomorrow it's forgotten. This was an initiative to make that live longer. We also came back. In the past it was there, we took it off, we bring it back, to in fact recognize people that are staying longer with us. To also say, okay, we value that because there's a lot of knowledge and information that people carry with them, and it's great to have them for so long with us. So we reintroduced certificates for years of service. Employer brand, I said we're not able to attract you or any other talents in the market if people don't believe in us as a company. And I had a discussion just before about Bulgaria as a country. If the perception outside of a country or outside of our company is bad, I can offer you as much money as I want. You will not join our company. If you have the perception that Coca-Cola Hellenic is the best employer in Bulgaria, you will never come to job interview and ask for what is my salary. You say, I want to work for you. And that's something we need to work on, because the perception that we had as a company was extremely bad and low. We don't pay well. We ask a lot. If you work for Coke, you're a slave. You need to work day and night. Yes, we ask a lot of hard work. I don't want to say anything else. That's true. But you also get other things, beautiful things. If not, people wouldn't stay for so long with us. We don't put them in chains, let's be clear. So we created, again, we went, in fact, externally, and we also asked our people what they say. And we now started to, in fact, focus internally to see what our people say about their job, because that's what they carry out to their families, to their colleagues. We need to be sure that we address the points that they have as a problem, that we know what their problems is, that we can solve them. That was also part of the engagement. We created what we believe is the right thing, which is be, create, and celebrate as a motto. And we created a Facebook page. I'm sure you know how that works. I'm not into that. We made sure that we do things that in the celebration, for example, we had a meeting on the 12th, 12, 12, and we made the picture at 12, 12, 12. Because we thought that is symbolic. And the people really liked it. And everybody got one of these pictures in a frame afterwards. So what is important is that people understand who we are internally, externally, that they always recognize us. Not only Coca-Cola as a brand, because that's something we want to be and we don't want to be. So it's a very difficult marriage that we have with the Coca-Cola company, because we want to be recognized as Hellenic, and on the other hand, we want to be Coca-Cola. Okay, that's been out of the lounge. So if you go on JobsBG, you see that we would be presented like that. One of the other things that came out is that our people, what they said internally, said we are having a certain silo thinking, want to change that. And they said, okay, we should swap. Means I would ask one of you to come and have the presentation here, and I would sit on your place to listen, to see how does it feel. Is that boring? Is that interesting? Is it difficult to do that job? Because quite often we believe we have the difficult job and the other one has the easy job till we have to do it. And then even the easy one gets difficult. So we have a campaign where people can ask to get swapped and experience. We cannot do everybody in the first year, but we will do quite many of them. And then we will have also a party at the end of the year where we kind of celebrate, and we make also little movies to show people how they felt in this. So great people need to achieve something. If not, we do something wrong, and we're proud of that. So we measure that also, how we achieve things internally within Hellenic. So we are very happy. We're the only country, the Bulgarian entity is the only one who got golden certificates in what we name an internal audit on best practices, lean manufacturing, and lean logistics, and Salesforce. We also introduced specific meetings. We also got talents awards, because we were really good in promoting talents, bringing people to the group. So Bulgaria is a net exporter of people. I would be imported because I'm coming from abroad, but there were more people sent out from Bulgaria, which is always good because they represent our country again in the group. But we also have external achievements. So the ministry rates us as the most greenest business by analyzing our data, and they recognized our effort in taking care of the environment. There are other things like, again, we were recognized by the Bulgarian Business Forum for having a great innovative program in developing talents. And when we achieve something, we should celebrate. The thing that we forgot in the past, especially during crisis time, money is tight. The thing is, you don't want to spend money on a party, because that would be the wrong thing. We need to save. But you still expect the people to be high performing. And we needed to realize that this doesn't work. The party maybe doesn't need to have Madonna singing on stage anymore, but a local Bulgarian person, which is significantly cheaper. But the important thing is, we need to celebrate. We organized football tournaments. This is knocking down cross-functional barriers. You really get different people involved, talking to each other in a different way, in a more private way. The winners, again, we need to celebrate, went to see Champions League game in Istanbul. We had a 200 managers meeting. That's where I showed you the picture before on the 12th, with a big party, with great Bulgarian band playing for us. So we really restarted these motivational things, Christmas party. We have a sales conference where we boost up the mood of the people to launch Coke Zero so that our people are feeling engaged. They go out with passion to sell that product. Yes, that's roughly it. So let me remind you what we believe are the important steps and give you maybe also a bit of a personal view. Very important, if you talk about things, you need to have a vision. You need to know what is your target. You need to have communicated that clearly. Everybody needs to understand where you want to head to. If you don't tell, people might go everywhere. Make that simple, not a 250-page document that nobody will read. Easy to understand, symbolic. You need to get talents. Now, I was hired back 9 years ago as a talent, coming from Lint, as I said, and I almost thought I did the wrong decision. As 3 months after I joined, I was told that we decided to close your plant. That was a shock for me. The good thing is they took care of talents. They gave me the chance to change the plant I was leading. We were able to make the turnaround, and they gave me the chance after to grow within this company. So I'm very grateful for all these talent development programs, and I'm also happy for all the talents I was able to develop within this company. You need to have the right values, you need to believe in them, you need to promote them. You need to stop wrong behavior. And that's difficult. As much, even more difficult than to say congratulations. If you see somebody doing wrong and it doesn't impact you directly, but you see that somebody is talking nasty to somebody else, somebody's not correctly behaving, how often we just pass by. We realize it, but we don't stop this. If we allow this, this will spread. At the beginning it will be a snowball effect. At the beginning it will be the two that have a fight. If we in here allow that, he will start a fight and you will start a fight with the two ladies in the front. Now we have already 4 fighting. They will allow themselves to go further and further and further. Within 5 minutes we have a fight always all in here. So to really stop that is a key element. Engagement. If we're not able to create happy faces, shiny eyes, we cannot ask people to go the extra mile. A non-engaged person comes in at 8, leaves at 5, and in between he is waiting that it becomes 5. He for sure will not make sure that our business is growing. To attract the talents and to retain, we need to have the right view outside. We need, or with all this, we will achieve the results, and we need to celebrate these results. So this is how we get success in our company. That's what we believe, and we're happy about it. If there are any questions around that, I'm more than happy to hear. I wasn't able to create too many shiny eyes in here.
How did you manage to get into Coca-Cola and did you go through the internship program?
I entered Coca-Cola at the plant manager level, so responsible for one site. And it was a tough process. To have the right people, we also recruit very thoroughly. I went through 5 interviews, and the interviewing process overall lasted for 4 months. In between, because I wasn't used to that, in between I called once the HR manager and almost insulted him. I said whether he doesn't have the balls to tell me that I wasn't selected, or that I'm second in the road and they need to wait for the next one to apply. He apologized. Today I know that this is the fact. So I cannot hire anybody reporting to me without my manager's approval. Why? Because we believe we want to already hire somebody that has potential to in fact grow. Whether it's growing to my position or being able to do not only that job, but the job of the other colleague, doesn't matter. But we don't want to hire somebody that next month we say is mastery, maybe has 5 direct reports with the potential to grow, and he becomes a blocker. Because if he cannot go up 1 level or move sideways because he's limited, he will block the people under to grow. And that's what we try to avoid. We want people to grow. We want people to rotate. In some of the countries now in Eastern Europe, that became a bit crazy. People rotating every 2 years. That's maybe a bit too extreme. My personal belief is 5 years is a good time in a position. Half a year to see how things go. Half a year to have a good plan and start the execution. Depending on how big the plan is, you need a year to realize it. And you for sure need 1 to 2 years to prove that what you've done is the right thing and you can guarantee continuity. But then, you need new ideas. Okay, there are some people that are really so motivated to come up with new, or the environment is changing that much, but in a stable environment, especially the one I come from Switzerland, there's 1% inflation, 0.5% salary increase, and that over the last 20 years. You need something that changes again. And that sometimes is helping if you change, if you move. Even if you do the job of your colleague aside, you get new ideas, you get this new passion. That's how I entered, and that's from where I grew. So I didn't go through one of these programs. I was supporting these programs, and I went through other programs on higher level. But we train, or our budget in training is very big. So to give you an example, I went on one program that prepared me for becoming a function head, so in the senior leadership team, which was in IMD in Lausanne for 2 weeks, and it was 1 week in Krakow in Poland, 1 week in Greece. So you see how much time was invested in me to get that. And the program is also extremely expensive. I went for a 2-week program to Atlanta before I came here. So we do a lot of investment in every level. It's not that we only focus on this, but we focus on every level. Yes?
You mentioned that you demand from your employees to work really hard. You also said that you don't pay much. Why is that?
I said that's the perception. So when we went out and we asked people, what do you believe? Would you work for Coca-Cola Hellenic? They said, oh, they are not able to retain the right people. They have a great brand. Coca-Cola is a fantastic brand. They don't retain their people. They're not really paying well, but they really ask people to work day and night. That's what people said about us. So we need to change that perception, because if not, we don't get the right people. Now still, what I said is, I want to be honest in my team. I don't want anybody coming at 8, leaving at 5, sitting and waiting it gets 5. So I ask a lot of my team. But they get a lot of freedom to do their job. And I never asked anybody to stay from 8 to 5. If somebody can do the job from 9 to 3, or even in less time, that's okay. I don't want to pay on managerial level. I don't want to pay for hours. I want to pay for result that the person can deliver. And that might be that in a certain period of the year, you need to stay till late in the evening because you cannot do it with budgeting period or crisis situation. I already stayed once 48 hours at the plant crisis situation. There was a huge problem, and you can imagine if a brand like Coca-Cola is affected, if we have one person that claims he died of Coke, that goes around the world today within fractions of seconds, with the social media, with the regular media, that goes like this. Whether it's true or not, it goes like that. So you need to be able to respond to that, to act on that. And if somebody then says, oh, you know, I have to go home now, let me deal with the media tomorrow, the media makes up a story. So we better need to deal at that moment. But the next day, when it's over, go and celebrate that you managed it well, go home at 3 in the afternoon, play with your friend, go for a beer, whatever. So we need to have that freedom. Yes?
How can we apply for one of these programs and how to prepare successfully so that we're accepted?
How to apply? I most probably will best hand over to HR, to Sophia. There is a leaflet. You can take a couple of them. We have enough to apply for the next round of High Start, which in fact we will start to recruit as we talk.
We started to recruit actually.
Okay.
We're gathering the CVs right now. So you can take the brochure and see the email and send your CV on the email.
What's the deadline?
The deadline is the 10th of May.
Okay. So I mean, also there is always also other possibilities to join. This is just a dedicated program for that. How to make sure that you get accepted? Be authentic, be honest, be ready to work hard, and how you say that? Humble. We have unfortunately too many people, and I was told that this is coming also from the universities, that believe that you leave the university, you're a manager. I see that often in interviews, people that come on this level, because these people, they're in fact recruited up to the GM, so we want to make sure we have the right ones. They come in and say, so what can you give me? And that's the wrong question to ask when you get into a 2-year program fully paid. So you get, if you want, this is a program where we invest in people for 2 years. We even give a salary for these 2 years, but the people go through trainings. I mean, we don't get a payback. Okay, we get some because they come with good ideas. They will bring some ideas, but they're not like working on a job for this period. So we invest in these people. And if somebody comes and says, so like sitting in the chair, I had that. Not everybody, but I had some. They were not selected. So tell me, what can you offer me? Yeah, but what is my salary then? How many days of vacation can I get? Yeah, but if I don't like this project, can I do something else? You will not be taken. If you show out the strengths, the passion, I think the authentic is the most important one, because we see through people that have a facade telling us a great story about what they're God on earth, and that they're already managing a company of 20 people. Or I had people that said that they're a CEO of a company, and I was impressed. And I was asking about the turnover of the company. The person didn't know. And asked the number of employees. And I found it was the person. Okay, fine. One-man show CEO. And as I said, you will not go through one. You will go through 4 or 5 interviews. You will go through a personality test. They need to match. And you're extremely, and then we also want to get you good, if you're able to trick 5 interviews and a personality test. Because then you have some asset that is great. But if they don't match, then we find out it's a it's not the true story. Yes?
As you said, you invest so much in people, training them, sending them abroad, and at the same time, you said you're doing this rotation and swapping of positions. Is every time when you change people's position, you do all these trainings? Really, how can you make sure that this person is qualified for the job that he has done before?
So there are two things. One is the swap campaign that I showed, which is understanding the other's job. This one is for 1 week, if I'm right. You go, in fact, to the person and do it together with that person. So you would come to my office and you would be with me for 1 week doing the job with me. But you will understand. I will let you do some of the things so that you see how it really works. But it's also mainly done on a lower level. So, for example, a salesperson goes once in the production to produce. And a production person goes once and to sell. And with that, we try rather to not prepare them for the other job, but to create understanding for the other, and acceptance, and trust. Sorry, for the second point, which is, can we always prepare people? No, sometimes we are not expecting somebody to leave. We need to move a bit quicker. We always try to give him still the development on it. Means that even he has already the job, he still goes through some of the trainings to be sure that he gets into it. We need to give extra support during the time he takes over. So if I get somebody in, let's say an external person for a direct report of me, or somebody who wasn't yet ready, I need to give full focus to that person. If not, the person fails. If one of the persons that is reporting to me is failing, I have to take this as my failure. I wasn't able to make that person successful. That's a key point. So it's not the person was bad. Because I put the person in that position, and the person was not successful, it's my fault. I'm part of the fault. I'd also be part of the person. So what we do really is we try to identify through these processes, what we name people development forums and individual development plans in SAP. You will fill your goal, your target, where you want to go. I will discuss that with you. I will put my point, so we're clear. If you say you want to be general manager in 2 years, I will say I don't believe you can do that. You can keep your view. I can keep my view. But we will put together the next steps for your next position, and we will define the trainings, and we'll give you these trainings. Now, one thing that is also important. Now, coming from university, there's a lot of theoretical knowledge, and when we talk about trainings, we don't mean only classroom training. Our definition of development is the following. 70% is on the job. 20% is through coaching and mentoring, and only 10% is through theoretical training. I don't know how many of you have a driving license, but you don't learn to drive a car in a classroom. So you need to go to the road. You need somebody to tell you how to drive. You're still not a good driver when you get the license. A good driver you get 2 years later when you have done your first 10 or 20,000 kilometers. So we stretch the people in their current role. They replace, for example, their manager to experience a bit how it is, and then we are able to move them. Okay?
What are your daily tasks that you need to perform as a supply chain manager apart from presentations?
What are my daily tasks? I think the key thing is two, inspiring people to go the extra mile. And the second one is with them to define the strategy. I am responsible, it's a definition that we have as a company, it's not just coming from me, is I am responsible for the competitive benefit of our company versus the rest. So I need to guarantee that. And with that, I need to put the strategy, I need to define how do we run, do we need, what is the general approach to it? Now again, I cannot do that on my own. I need my people to do that, but I need to select the right people to be able to work on that. And I need to inspire them so that they do that with great passion. That's the key thing I need to do. Now, if you look at my day, unfortunately, by today, we have a lot of emails. I hate them. I don't like telephone. I like face-to-face talks. I believe I feel much more, and I feel if something is wrong. On a telephone, I can say, you're really a great guy. Huh? You can do that, or things like that. You cannot do that. When you see a person, you see in the face, even if somebody tries to fake it, you see that, that something is wrong. You feel it. You see the sad face, you can interact. So I try to have as much as possible face-to-face meetings with the people. So I spend a lot of time in meetings, either with people directly, with my direct report, to look through projects, give them an advice, coaching them, which is the most powerful thing. I'm a great believer in coaching, helping them, but also to align things cross-functionally. So I need to, with my peers, to see how we define the total company strategy and how we execute that. Does it answer?
Yes, what is your degree from university?
Degree, I have a master degree in, how you say that? In fact, it's today, I don't have a master degree because Switzerland wasn't in the Bologna yet at that time, so it is just, it would be translated today into that for a food engineer. And I have a second degree in human nutrition, which I don't use at all today.
Which university do you have this master?
In fact, I was studying already at that time. I loved to move. I started my studies in the technical university in Switzerland, in Zurich. Moved from there to what is the English title of it? Technical high school, something like that, in the mountains, in the French part, to learn also French. Went from there for my diploma work to the Université de Montpellier II, which is the University of Montpellier, the Technical University of Montpellier. And the second degree I made again back in the ETH, the Technical University in Zurich. And I still would love to go back to study. It's one of the best times. That's what everybody always told me. So as an advice, I was always told when I was a child, enjoy, because when you go to the next high school, you know, it will be tough. I didn't believe it can get tougher. When I was at high school, they said when you go to university, you know, you will be on your own, it will get tough. You will not have that much freedom anymore. I thought, come on, I mean, I will do what I want. I will not live with my parents anymore. And on top, I mean, you know, it cannot get worse. I mean, I had to learn so much before, it cannot get worse. Then they said, enjoy university, because when you go to work, that will be real life. Yes, they were right. It is different. I was really looking forward to go for work, and I still love to work. But the thing is, you see the result of your work, whilst as a student, okay, you get marks, but I didn't get passion in mark, maybe because I had not the best ones. But I really believe it is a great time to be a student. So enjoy it and build a network. I think it's, as I understood in this university here, you have really the great opportunity also to get people from different countries. I mean, use that. FaceTime is Facebook is for sure a fantastic tool to keep in touch, but you cannot build. I'm still a believer, and maybe it's a generation problem, I'm still a believer, a real friendship and relationship you can only build face-to-face when you're so close that you can touch. when you drink together a beer, when you get lost on the way back home in the dark street, that's what you remember later, and that's when you remember that's a good friend. So use that chance, because the more people you have out in the world, the more resources you have to ask questions. And you will have a lot of questions. It's not that when you start working, you're 10 years in the job, you know everything. You know nothing. And it was, I'm not sure it was Da Vinci who said that, or Galileo who said, what we don't know is big, what we know is little. If this is what we know, this is the surface of what we realize that we don't know. If you know that much, that's when you leave for university, you realize much more of what you don't know. But this is what we don't know. And that means you need to ask a lot of questions. The more people you know, the more great resources you have to get input. Other questions?
Thank you so much for coming. And thank you also.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope we can see you again some other time, some other culture.
Whenever you give me the chance. Thank you. Thank you for being a good audience.
This program is brought to you by AUBGTalks. For more, please visit us at aubg.bg/talks.